So would show number 2 of Late Night Boomin', would that be a success?
Yeah. Through the difficulties, it was overall a success.
It was rough.
It was very rough.
Right,
but that was not our fault.
That was not our fault.
We got screwed over.
That's right.
We had everything planned out and we just couldn't get the job.
We were supposed to have an audio person there an hour and a half before.
And they didn't
we
show
didn't get our stuff
minutes.
figured out until literally 8 o'clock.
Yeah. And I had been trying to get an audio person in there for a week and a half.
Well, the good news is my dad, who is actually an audio engineer, he really, really knows his stuff. He has volunteered to help us out to run the board for the next show.
That would be great.
So then we don't have to have any interference, nothing. So he'll just run everything.
That would be awesome because he knows what he's talking about.
He does. So welcome to the Small YouTube Channels Talk podcast. We're going to run the ad break right after the intro just so we can get it over with and just talk.
Yep.
So roll the intro.
Warning, the following pre-recorded podcast will blow your mind. Broadcasting to Anchor, YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. Recorded in Cole's parents' basement. This is Small YouTube Channels Talk.
Now roll the ad break.
Hey, Jack.
Yes, Cole James Anderson.
Have you ever wanted to make a podcast?
I've always wanted to make a podcast before.
Wow, that's great. Because if you haven't heard, Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast.
Really?
Let me explain.
Tell me more, please.
It's free.
Wow.
The best option. If it's free, it's gonna be lit.
I'm a broke college kid. I don't got money.
There's creation tools that allow you to re-record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Sick.
Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. Not to mention, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. That means start off 0 listeners, and you can already get ads.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is probably the best news I've heard all day.
Dude, it's everything you need in a podcast to make a podcast all in one. So guys, if you want to make a podcast, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's ANCHOR.fm to get started.
Wow. I'm going to go make me a podcast right now.
Nice.
All right. Sweet.
Okay, welcome back to the Small YouTube Channel Talk. Thank you so much for sitting through that ad break. We figured we'd get it done right away because honestly, I'm not looking to do a lot of editing
last time we
today.
didn't give you guys an ad. We apologize.
That's right. Well,
I know you guys look
we
forward
did give
to
you an
that.
ad because it was episode 10 and it was a special occasion.
A little treat for you.
That's right. You know what's funny? I've actually made more money on Anchor doing this podcast than I ever have in like the 8 years of doing YouTube.
Seriously?
Yeah, I've made like 85 cents. And that's
Wow.
the most. I've made more money doing this in 11 weeks than I have in 8 years of doing YouTube.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
85 cents.
11 weeks already.
Yeah. If anyone wants a custom ad read and you want to sponsor us, we'll do it cheap. We're cheap people.
Yeah, we're cheap. We're cheap.
We're cheap.
What can I say?
can I
Nobody
say?
wants an ad.
So let's talk about Late Night Boomin'.
All right.
Because I personally wanted to ask you a couple things because of you're up there. You're the person, you're the host.
Right.
What's that like to run a live show?
Okay. I'll kind of explain this by describing the experiences from the 2 shows and combining them into one, okay?
Sure.
So the first show, there's a lot of energy. I got out there and the audio was working pretty well, right? Yeah. And there's a lot of people there and the energy was great right off the bat. And so the rest of the show, I felt really confident. It was just a really, really fun time, okay?
Right. Occasionally there'd be a little bit of audio interference.
Right. Occasionally, some things, but it was nothing to stop the show, right?
Right.
The second show, I was very, very stressed out all the way right up until before the show. And that really kind of put a hindrance on the rest of the show. Right. So
I don't think the show energy was down though. I don't know if you noticed, but the show energy, because I'm sure you were focused on other things.
Yeah.
But the show energy was there.
You think so?
The energy in the crowd was there.
So from my perspective, when I came out, the first thing I noticed was that there wasn't nearly as many people as there was from the first show.
I think that's because we didn't have ample time to advertise.
Sure. And I wasn't thinking about that, but like right then I was like kind of confused, and I was kind of like, oh man. And right off the bat, like from the first show, that people were just like, yeah, like super excited. And then this show is just like, yeah, you know, and it just, I don't know.
But when there was some really funny stuff happening, it was good. It was good.
I honestly think that this show is really good. Like I was editing a little bit today from parts of the show, and I thought it went really well. But so overall, I would describe the experience as it's so much fun. It's like when we did the movie in the theater. You know, the payoff is always worth it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because there are still things that went wrong. You know, with noticing things about it. But overall, it's still a good experience.
Yeah, no, and
that was super stressful.
Oh my goodness!
I think that it was.
And that's a hard part for those of you. Maybe this is a good podcast to talk about doing live things because for our whole careers we've never really ventured down the live path.
Pre-recorded.
Everything's pre-recorded. We've never gone down the live path, and
I've maybe done a couple gaming live streams, but that's nothing compared to like what we were doing.
Right, like live in front of a crowd.
Right,
and we don't for those of you guys that have never been to one of these shows, we don't film it like they would a late night show. We film it as a live experience and a late night show. So there's no pauses. Like we don't say, all right, we're going to redo this, because it's just one straight through thing. And I don't know. I mean, you're there. It's kind of
like a play almost. Like it needs to be perfect. It needs to be one run through. It needs to be good.
Yes. And tell me the difference between being on set of, say, one of our film projects and being on set of the live show of Slick Trigger.
Right. So I think the way that I've described this before is it's basically like managing one long take. Like everything has to be perfect, and we don't get a second chance. Like that's how I picture it. I'm gonna just silence my phone. I was really looking to not do any editing this podcast. That's why I wanted the ad break right at the beginning.
Chop.
It's like doing one really. It has to be perfect, basically. Like it's similar to a play because you go to Jimmy Fallon and you're there for 3 hours and the finished product is an hour long. Right. Actually, it's 44 minutes long because of commercials. But with us, we have to get it. Like it has to be ready, perfect, done. And I think one of our biggest downfalls was not having enough planning time because not everyone was on the same page.
Well, you got to remember literally over half of our crew was not there.
No, like most of our crew was not there.
Most of our crew from the very first show was not there.
Because it was literally just me, you, Trevor, and then Eddie showed up late. And I think that was literally
it from the first show. And we had all three of our camera guys out. We had our co-host out. Like we had one of our stagehands out, and oh my goodness! But we pulled it off.
We did pull it off. Hopefully, have you set a date for the next?
Sometime in March.
We should set a date so we can start pushing it
for sure,
planning it. But yeah,
here's another thing
so
too
weird.
Is like you don't when we're writing stuff and when we're filming stuff and we do a lot of comedy in our stuff. We get second chances on like if it's not funny or stuff. You don't get a second chance when you're on stage and you make a joke that bombs.
Luckily, most of your jokes did not. I don't think a single joke one of your jokes bombed.
Well,
most of the time.
That's the joy of the co-host and having the extra
banter.
Yeah, the banter, right? Because they can, if a joke's not good, they can always pick it up and
hopefully
stuff.
Jacob can return for episode 4,
right.
3.
Yeah.
Well, show 3. It's not an episode.
Right. Show
yeah, it was still though very, very fun. A new experience for me because I ran one of the cameras.
Yeah. How'd that go?
I think it went well. It was definitely. I don't think that we would have needed what my job was the first show because the first show wasn't as planned out, so it wasn't as. I want to say like perfect because the first show needed someone to make sure that people were doing their job. Yeah,
and we didn't have the schedules written out for the cameras either.
Right, which definitely helped. It did help a lot. One of the stagehands forgot to switch microphones or switch the microphone.
Oh, there was so many problems. The projector wouldn't move
up
and down.
The projector wouldn't work.
But we're going to completely... have you ever seen the movie The Founder?
That's about McDonald's. Right? I've seen the beginning of it.
Right. So there's this scene where they're talking about how they developed the fast food system, and they were like showing other restaurants and how they did things, and it was like really cluttery. And then McDonald's like rearranged their kitchen so that everything ran really, really smoothly, and they simplified it. And I think that's what we're going to do with a lot of the things of our show. For example,
try to simplify some of the.
Yeah, and that's what you got to do. I mean, especially because we're putting together all the pieces of this show.
Right.
And we don't have anyone to help us.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah, for sure. That's definitely what we have to do.
Yeah, live TV.
It's rough.
It's
I
a
didn't
monster.
expect it, doing like a whole live show and planning it out. Like, that's honestly like one of the more interesting experiences that I've had. Thanks to you.
It's
because
interesting.
like if I would have been working with anyone else, this would have been unimaginable. But you pull off some of the craziest stuff.
I don't know how we do it.
Honestly, like just looking at some of the stuff we did with our last movie, like how we didn't get honestly in like short films and stuff, the original Slick Trigger series, like how we were
There it
able to
is.
pull some of that off. I talked about the original series.
Oh, you
You
didn't
notice how I haven't been saying the name of the movie because I'm trying not to refer.
I noticed that.
I'm trying not
noticed
to
that.
refer to the movie. I want to get through one fucking episode and not say that goddamn movie, because that is the one thing I get criticized about this podcast so much.
So when we were on set of Slick
God
Trigger,
fucking No, it's funny. It's funny. People are gonna laugh at my pain, so that's the good thing.
That ain't my eyes.
Damn it! You know what's really weird? I've been eyeing that. In the corner of my room, there's a vinyl record for Igor by Tyler the Creator, and like the for you people who don't know this, like the cover art is like his face. And I walked in this morning to my room, and I swear to God, he blinked.
He blinked at you, huh?
Yeah. I don't know. It was just weird.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's kind of creepy.
It's just creepy. I recently picked up the Nintendo Switch.
Yes. And thoughts?
I
Reviews?
like it so far. I wish that the bezels were a bit less thick because they're really, really thick. I wish that the screen was a bit bigger.
All right.
Do you have any game consoles?
I'm a PS4 guy.
You're a PS4 guy?
Yeah.
I was, for the longest time, I thought that I was an Xbox person, even though like I literally owned like a PS1 and a PS2, and then the Xbox 360 and 1 came out, and I would always go over to friends' houses and play those. And I always thought that was like the superior system. And then we had an Xbox, or we had a PS3, and now we have a PS4. Like, I don't think we've ever gotten a single Xbox system. Like, we're not an Xbox family.
Well, I think what a lot of people say is that 360 was better than PS3.
Definitely. But the
And
PS4 is better
PS4 is
than
better.
the Xbox One.
But I've always been a PlayStation guy. Like I had the PS2, then the PS3, then the PS4 now. And
Right.
PS5's coming out this year.
I would only get an Xbox for the exclusives, honestly. Like, that's the only reason that I'd like Halo. Halo's a good game, and unfortunately you can't get it on PlayStation. Except now you can get most of the games on PC, I want to say.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, though, if you look at exclusives, PS4 outdoes Xbox.
Definitely.
Nowadays, especially.
Definitely, yeah.
Back in the day, Xbox really had PlayStation, but now PS4,
Yeah.
I mean, they've got, God of War, they've got, I guess, Little
Spider-Man?
Big Planet, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's a great one. That topples a lot of
Yeah.
things. It's a really good game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I picked up the Switch mainly because very, very recently I started getting into like the competitive Super Smash scene.
Ooh, yeah.
Which is really, it sounds really dumb to say because like I used to be super competitive in this game called Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
Uh-huh.
And I was really, really good at that. I was in fact so good that someone reported me and I got VAC banned because they thought that I was cheating. It was bad. and then that pissed me off, so I stopped playing. So like for a pretty long time, I've always been like a video games kind of guy, but I don't play them as much as like I'd prefer to.
Sure.
PC is my preferred like platform, I want to say, because when I built my first PC and that's what I played on, I love those controls, keyboard and mouse. I think they're the best. Which is funny to say because when I play Minecraft on the PC, I plug in an Xbox controller. I have a wired Xbox controller because I think it's just better. It's funner. It's less stressful to play.
Right, yeah.
I
I don't know. The reason I picked like PS4 is just because the fact that like I think it far outdoes the Xbox One.
What's up? Hi, Brock. Brock just snuck in. Yeah, I do agree with you though. But with the new generations coming out, the PS5 and the
We'll see how that
Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
I swear whoever like names the Xbox consoles has to have ADHD. Because it went from Xbox and you'd think, okay, the next one's going to be like the Xbox 2 or something. And then it's like, oh, Xbox 360. And then the third one was almost called the Xbox 720, which would make sense.
Right.
And then they call it the Xbox One. And we're like, okay, now can we have an Xbox 2? No, we're gonna call it the Series X.
Yeah, like
it makes no sense.
Nobody knows what's going on.
And if you've seen Samsung just released a phone, the S20. They literally had like the S2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, the 8, the 9, the 10, the S20. Like what's the point in that?
Yeah, no, there's no point.
Like yeah, clearly like I kind of get what they're trying to do, like it's trying to show like a big jump in performance or whatever. But
you know, PlayStation just keeps it nice and simple.
Right.
PS1.
It's kind of like
3,
the
4,
Fast and Furious franchise. Like the naming scheme of those films just falls off the rails really fast.
Well, and here's the thing too, is like if you look at I had actually a really good point I was gonna make. I don't know. Keep talking.
Ruined.
Maybe I'll think of it.
On Robert's podcast, they just talked about Fast and Furious, and they're talking about how good those films are. And I have a few critiques, but I do think that they are really good films. I think they're perfect action films. The first 3, actually, number 1 and number 3 are my particular favorites. I also saw 7 in theaters because that was like Paul Walker's send off,
Right.
And I was really, really pleased with that film. I don't think it was a great film, but you cannot deny that Fast and Furious does action really, really well. Like a lot of it's not plausible at all and not realistic at all.
Yeah.
But it's so good.
So my take on the Fast and Furious movies is the very first one I ever watched was number 6 in theaters for one of my friend's birthdays.
Sure.
And I had no idea what was going on.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly,
then,
you could jump in anywhere and you'd have no
and
idea
so
what was going
then
on.
I was like, okay, cool. I just forgot about it. And then Fast and Furious 8 come out. And somebody's like, you want to go see it? I was like, sure. So I saw 8.
And you didn't see
like,
7?
No, yeah. And then at the end of number 8, they're like, they have the baby or whatever. And he's like, I'm going to name him Brian. And I was like, Brian? Why would they name him Brian? Like,
you didn't understand that at all?
No, I had no idea. And then I was like, you know what? It was junior year of high school. I watched so many series that year because I was so bored.
Right.
And I just grind them on my Chromebook during school.
Like that was the same time when you watched all the Marvel movies.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And like all the Pirates of the Caribbean,
right? Sure.
Every movie ever, and so then
every
I started.
Movie ever.
Yeah,
Jack has seen every film.
Every movie ever. So I started watching Fast and Furious, and I just love them because, especially if you watch a series like all in a row consecutively, very quickly, you, especially with the Fast and Furious, you don't really notice the evolution of how crazy it's getting until you look back and see how far you've
it's pretty
come.
obvious 4 is where like things really
that's where it hits the fan.
Yeah.
But honestly, I just don't
and
even
then
care.
it just keeps trying to up itself.
But at that point, like if you like the movies like I do, you just don't care. You're just in it for the ride.
To watch.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not like critiquing.
I'm not watching Fast and the Furious films to learn about good story and shit like that.
No,
you're just watching.
You want to watch cars blow up, you know?
That's all that it's about.
And so honestly, like when I watched number 7, I was like, oh, this sucks. Like I started tearing up, and that's never really happened. I was like, he's actually dead though. This is so sad. Yeah.
Did you know that like I think half of Paul Walker in like Paul Walker scenes in Fast and the Furious 7 are CGI. Which is insane because it like most of the time it's barely noticeable. Like that's how good it was.
Yeah, that's so sad. It's crazy how he died like in a car too.
Yeah, isn't that just insane?
That's wild.
That's so weird. Yeah, no, I don't. That's just. Have you ever seen the Harry Potter franchise? Not. I've like barely seen any of them, but like what I have seen, I've enjoyed.
Is that
that's
owned by
another
Disney?
series? I think it is. I'm not sure.
Sure.
But that actually no, I think it's owned by Universal.
Oh, okay.
But that's always been a series that I've wanted to like watch beginning to end, because I've heard that it's a pretty good adaptation, and Harry Potter is like the only thing that can make magic cool.
So here's the thing is like I've never gotten into Harry Potter ever. Like
Sure.
I've never had any interest in it. Like it just doesn't capture my attention, I guess. I've tried watching them, and
I think like the first few films are like kind of not great because it's like child actors.
And I'm
time.
sure if I like actually got into it, I'd enjoy them somewhat.
Because like the last two, well, I guess the last three are really, really good.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. Yeah. Like I just don't want to invest.
Do you have any guilty pleasure movies?
A lot of them.
Yes.
So
I'd like to hear a couple.
Captain Underpants, the animated movie,
really
is awesome.
Never seen it, so
it's
I can't
so
judge.
Funny. Well, I love Nick Kroll, and he's in that movie.
Fucking insane!
Oh my goodness! So that
I can't believe that you're like a film buff, and you're like Captain Underpants.
No,
man,
yeah, it's so good.
It's going down in history.
Angry Birds movie.
Really?
I love that movie. It's so funny.
I did not like that.
Really?
Film. No, I was not a fan.
Let's see what else. And there's one more. Oh yeah, the Lego movies.
The Lego. I think the first one is good. I never saw the second one. I saw the Lego Batman one. That was also
awesome.
That was also okay.
I like all three of those movies. So those are that's my list. How about you?
Okay, so Disney Channel original movies are my guilty pleasure films.
Like High School Musical.
Your High School Musical. You know, just stuff like that, or like Minutemen.
Sure.
You know,
Agent Cody Banks.
That's right. Like those are like they're honestly kind of trash, but like I personally think that they have such an important place in cinema because they're good and they're bad. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So.
Like Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Shark Boy and Lava. Yeah. It's a great film. But it's kind of bad.
Well, it's so good because we grew up with it and we didn't care.
That's right.
I mean, like,
that's right.
Obviously, like film buffs when that came out were like, oh, where's that? You
know,
we just
Disney Channel. They're never good.
Yeah, it's like, well, they didn't make the movie for you.
They're making like a fourth Descendants, and it's like the fucking stop.
Yeah. No. Here's the thing. Okay, I don't know if we've talked about this in the show, but the bigger Disney gets, the more my hatred grows for it.
Yeah, same. It's
like honestly, I used to be like, oh, I like Disney, and now it's like they own everything, and I hate it.
Marvel, Fox.
Oh my goodness, they got their paws and everything. I can't, and everybody nuts over Disney.
Dude, that's why like people like me and you need to fucking get in there and actually. They're gonna make a sequel to Aladdin, the live action Aladdin. Why?
Are you serious?
What's the point?
There's nothing new anymore. There is nothing original. And I know we've talked about this before, but how much can you milk this crap?
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's not even a good fucking film.
No.
Like it might have been all right, but it doesn't deserve a fucking sequel.
Yeah.
It was a live action remake of an animated film. Why would you give that a sequel?
It doesn't take much to get me into a movie in theaters, and I didn't even want to go see that movie. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I'll literally give any excuse to go see a movie just because I like to see movies. Just saw Uncut Gems, by the way.
Did you see it yet? We'll talk about it next next podcast because I started it and I haven't finished it.
Oh, really? What part are you at?
I want to say I'm like, okay, I'm definitely not halfway through it. I'm like first 20 minutes because something came up. Kind of spoilers. He, the guy in the basketball team, I can't remember his fucking name, takes the
Kevin Garnett.
He takes it and he leaves.
Yep.
And then Adam Sandler puts on a bet and then he's at home watching the game. That's all as far as I've gotten.
Okay.
Which is not very far. I've heard very, very good things. So the trailer for that film is very good.
Yeah.
I've probably seen that trailer 50 times just because I was like, oh my God, I gotta see this.
Yeah.
So I downloaded it.
I want to talk to you
Don't tell
about
the police.
I want to talk with you about that next week because I've got some interesting opinions on that movie.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I'm gonna see 1917 soon. I want to see Jojo Rabbit.
I want to see that too. I've only seen like one trailer and it was a while ago, but it looks just interesting.
Have you seen Parasite?
No, I want to.
You need to see that.
What makes that such a good movie?
Just go in blind.
Okay.
Don't even go watch the
I literally
trailer.
know nothing about it.
Don't even go watch the trailer.
I only know it's in Korean.
Yeah, you can read, right? You can read relatively
Barely.
fast. Okay. Barely.
Yeah. Where can I get it? I just saw illegally, or is it in theaters still?
It might be. I haven't checked. I watched it online.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, that's how I saw it.
Is it a long movie?
I want to say hour and a half, 2 hours. Not as long, about as average for today's film.
Sure.
That film, I'd say it was my film of 2019, which is insane.
Over Joker?
Because the Joker was mine, but that has so much on top of the Joker. It's insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just can't wait to see that. Yeah.
It's really good. The best way I can describe it is it's a disaster film.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw this meme where this girl asked him, I think this actually happened at the Oscars. The girl asked him, so why did you decide to make this movie in Korean? And he's from Korea.
Yeah.
He shoots in Korea. Yeah. It's about Korea.
It's so... I hate that so much. There was like a bunch of 1-star reviews on Amazon for the film, and people were like, it's not in English. Don't get this. It's stupid. It's like, God, wow. People in America cannot fucking read.
Yeah.
like you get a film and they're immediately like, oh, what's this? When are the Americans gonna show up?
Those are the people that say there's two things I hate. One, people that can't tolerate other people's cultures, and two, the Koreans.
Yeah, because like I don't know if you saw, but his acceptance speech at the Oscars was in English. First he goes, great honor, or he goes, thank you, great honor. Yeah. And then he started talking in Korean, and the rest of his thing was in Korean, and then a translator translated it like on stage. And someone tweeted like, this guy Bong Joon-ho, he said 3 words in English and then he gave the rest of his speech in Korean. This is why America is being torn apart. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
We're recognizing like alternate culture, and it's an international film. Hell yeah, that was the best film of last year.
I think that's super cool when people can do that because, like, first of all, it gives us an insight into how they see the world and how, I mean, it's a whole other world over there.
It's so progressive too, because like our country is very, very stubborn, and we don't like literally everywhere else in the world, like most people learn 2 languages growing up, and that does not happen here. Like you might major in fucking French or ASL or something, but you won't actually know the language. People grow up speaking 2 languages.
Yeah.
And for that to become so successful here, it really shows that we're actually working towards being more progressive about it. And I think you're like, even though you are like on the righter side of the political spectrum, the fact that you make movies pushes you a little bit towards the left on some subjects, especially like with film and stuff, because man, I was really fucking pissed off. Trevor Cox, I know you listen to this podcast. I have a few things to say about you. He texted the group chat between us 3.
Yeah.
And he goes like, because it just won Best Pictures the night of the Oscars. And he goes, has anyone actually seen this? Yeah, I watched it last week. So I was like, are you trying to be one of those people, Trevor? Also, I posted a little thing on Twitter of the top 10 films to know me. And my number 5 was Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Apparently he thinks that's a bad film. I don't think he knows good films, because that is a perfect film.
He's got to get back on the podcast so you guys can roast each other.
Dude, that film is so good.
So here's the thing, going back to the whole politics and filmmaking kind of thing, is like
Politics and Filmmaking Part 2.
Part 2. What are we gonna title this podcast?
I'm probably gonna title it. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, because we started with Fast and the Furious.
It's yeah. We're all over the board.
We're all over the place.
Do we
That's
care?
fine.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
So yeah, it's like, I think it's really cool how like, I don't think that we should be divided as a country on the topic of experiencing other cultures. I don't think that should be a left or right thing, but it is.
Which is so dumb.
So like honestly,
it's dumb that a lot of things are left or right.
And it's interesting that we talk about this because I was getting a haircut last week with barber, and he's black, and we always.
I just gotta put that out there. I'm a black friend.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
So like we always get into the topics of we always talk politics when I'm over there.
Sure.
And he's super interesting to talk to. He's not left. He's not right. He hates them all. He says.
Yeah. I don't like people like that. I don't like people that are like, I'm not racist. I hate everyone. That's no.
Yeah. He's like. What he said was he's like.
Is he like centrist? Where he's like kind of like independent?
No, he said he'll say what he likes about people and he'll say what he doesn't like. Yeah. He's like, Donald Trump, he's a piece of crap. But you know what I like about him? Is he's not afraid to say what he wants. You know what you're getting with him. And he's like, so he's not afraid to, he's like, he'll give credit where credit's
his morals.
Right, yeah. And that's what he's all about. He's all
should
about,
all be like that.
Yeah. He's all about like not standing up for somebody just because they're that person.
Right.
He said, so Jack, if you support Donald Trump, you shouldn't be making excuses for things that you know are wrong. And I was like, you're not wrong. And so we talk about race a little bit and how like, I was like, well, why is this whole race thing an issue? Like, why is race like literally the stupidest thing? The color of your skin means nothing. You can't control it.
And it shouldn't.
Who cares? Like, honestly,
in an ideal world, it would have never meant anything. But unfortunately, us fucking white people. I mean, it's not even white people.
I don't know if it's just white people. It's everyone.
It's just
I don't know how it started.
It's just righteous, rich people who think that they have power.
And I don't know why.
Because if anyone has power, they're going to instill it over people. Because like, this might seem a little wrong to say, but if it were black people who would have had power back then, the white people would have been the slaves, you know? Because it's not about race, it's about power.
Yeah. And I was like, do you think that we'll ever like even out, or do you think we'll ever stop like worrying about race? And he's like, Jack, it's called race for a reason. Everybody's trying to win.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa.
That's wise.
I was like, he's like, they could have called it anything in the world. They chose to call it race.
Wow.
And I never thought about that before.
I've never thought about that. Yeah. That's insane.
And it just made me think like, I mean, it didn't like make me get mad at white people. It didn't make me like anything for any race. It just made me like, why is it like this?
Right.
Like, it's such a useless thing. It's like the color of your eyes. You can't control it.
Right.
Why does that matter? You know what I mean? It doesn't change anything about you. Underneath, we're literally all the same.
Right. Did you know that actually there is like a study done that like, I think it was like 20% of doctors thought that black people had thicker skin.
Really?
You know how dumb that is? That's so dumb. It's like literally it's stuff like that. Like why does that, how did that even come to like be a thing?
And why would that, even if it was true, why would that matter?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. It's insane. But I mean, sometimes I think it does matter because actually redheads are more likely to, they require more like anesthesia when they like get surgery because of like some like their pain tolerance is like a lot lower or something. So like if they get the same amount, let's say it's like you or me, if we went into surgery, they're more likely to wake up in the middle of surgery and feel everything.
Oh, that would suck.
Yeah.
No, it's I don't know. It's like
it's a tricky topic.
Why? It's just like,
but it seems like it should be funny enough, black and white. No pun intended.
Yeah. Do you think that that you will tell your kids about racism, or do you think that, because like here's the one thing, if you obviously we need to remember our past and stuff like that, right. But what if you never knew about racism and you never had any biased opinions on anyone?
Ideally, if we could just live in a world where everybody was just themselves and we didn't have to worry about it, yeah. But with my kids, like if they can, like I think I'll tell them when I think it's appropriate, you know, because I don't want them, if they go to fucking preschool and then I hear back from a teacher that they were bullying the black kid, I want to know why he was bullying the black kid. Was he bullying the black kid because he was black or because he looked stupid or he was doing something weird? Like I want to know Like, was it because of like this, like some sort of stigma because of like the color of their skin?
That's right.
Because if I do everything right, there will be no problems.
In a kid's eyes, though, do you think him bullying a black kid would be no different than bullying a kid just because they have freckles?
Well, it depends on why they're bullying them, you know?
So,
because if they were bullying them because they got an F, let's say that. Like, he saw his paper and he's like, oh, you got an F, haha. Like, oh, you're dumb, versus, oh, you're dumb because you're black. Like, that's pretty, like, obvious, you know?
Yeah.
Because if I found out that he was just being an asshole, I'd be like, fucking stop it. But if I found out that he was bullying him because he's black, I'd be like, okay, you're going in your room for a week. You can come out when you're not an asshole.
So do you think, here's an interesting question on the topic of bullying. I saw a couple memes because I'm on iFunny. I'm an iFunny guy.
iFunny, TikTok.
Yeah.
Are you about to talk about the whole like bullying works?
No, I saw, okay, so like there's this thing where there's this kid who's like, he's this big fat boy, probably like just a little bit older than us.
I'm confused where this is going.
He was like wearing cat ears and he had like cat paint on his face and he's like, meow, meow, in front of the camera and he's like licking himself. And there was a comment that said, this is why we need to bring back bullying. And like, I've seen crap like that before. Like,
Listen,
how true do you think that is?
Listen, people can do what they want behind closed doors, and I don't care as long as it's not hurting anyone, or, yeah, basically as long as it's not hurting anyone, right? So technically, I don't have a problem with that, but I prefer not to see it, right?
It's just really
personally,
weird.
I think that's extremely fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's like some weird like sex fetishes, let's say.
Sure.
Like people are into like cuckolding and all this weird ball crushing. Like what? Like I don't personally understand the point, but hey, if it works for you, fine. But I don't want to see that on my Pornhub timeline, okay? Like, so like I just want to have my preferences, and like that's kind of like my stance on like a lot of things. Is like, you know, you do you. As long as you're not hurting nobody, just don't fucking involve me, you know? Otherwise, I feel like I'm going to have to get involved. But if I see that come across my timeline on TikTok or Facebook or Twitter or something, I'm going to be like,
so like
this needs to stop.
There's yeah. And there's being,
there's a line, right?
There's being yourself, and there's like not caring what people think about you. But that also has limits, you know what I mean? Like you can't take that too far and just like, I mean, just go off the wire with it. Like there has to be some sort of like self-respect, you know what I mean? Like I'm just trying to help you. I'm not trying to like, you know.
Right. Yeah. Like Shia LaBeouf brought the co-star with Down syndrome from one of his latest movies on to present an Oscar. And that's like fucking awesome that like he did that. And then a lot of people were like freaking the fuck out because he thought that he was like laughing at him or like Shia LaBeouf was like laughing at him and stuff. And then we found out that Shia LaBeouf actually refused to present any Oscars unless he could do it with him. And they're just friends. That's why they're like doing shit like that. Like they're just buddies. So like stuff like that, that's like clearly just someone who cares. And then we see people online who, I don't know. It's just like we live in a weird era to see. I saw something where it was like this like kids basketball team, and this bigger kid got the ball and he handed it to this littler kid, and he let him shoot. And like I was like, wow, that's really sweet. And I was like, kind of dawned on me. I was like, I shouldn't even be thinking that. That should just be an automatic. Like we should just treat disabled people with respect,
right?
You know?
Yeah, and
the fact that I only think stuff like that when I see nice things being done is kind of like, it's absurd to even think about, you know?
And I think that's really cool. Like that's the way it should be. I saw this quote So it's a picture.
You shouldn't have to think twice about it, is what I'm saying.
And I saw this picture of Tom Hardy shaking this guy's hand, and it was just like this like kind of street worker guy, and it was an actual quote by Tom Hardy that said, "My mom always taught me to treat the janitor like you'd treat your boss."
Yeah,
you know
they do the
mean?
hardest job.
And like, I just think that I think that's really cool because look at Shia LaBeouf or look at that kid that was hitting the basketball to the Down syndrome or to the disabled boy. I think that we should be using wherever we are, because obviously there's like a social ladder or whatever, where you are, like your wealth, your resources, what you have. We should be using what we have to help those below us,
right?
Help bring other people up. Now, that's not advocating for socialism or communism or anything like that, because
we're talking in terms of like spirit.
We're talking about morals or moral compass.
Morally, yeah.
Or moral compass.
Moral, God damn it. It's that fucking slick trigger and that damn moral compass.
That documentary. No, yeah. So I think that's what it's all about, is using what we have to elevate others. You know what I mean?
For sure. I definitely agree. Talking about janitors, this is gonna be a really weird segue, a really weird place to go. I don't know if you remember this, but Eddie sent a video to the group chat of someone taking a mad dump in one of the urinals at our old high school. That's one, gross. Two, very disrespectful, because someone's got to clean that up.
Three, not funny.
Not funny at all. It's not like, it's funny thinking about it because it's like a nervous laughter, because it's like, no, but like it's fucking disgusting.
That doesn't actually incite a laugh out of me. Like, okay, you pooped in a urinal. Like, people have done that before. Right. You know, it's like,
what is this, fucking South Park?
Yeah, like I don't know. It's just weird things. Like
it's not even like,
or like those videos of kids like slapping soap dispensers and spraying them all over the place. Like,
I worked at a gas station and someone fucking did that. Like, it's not fucking funny. Like that's not. No. They like walked out and they're like giggling coming from the bathroom. They didn't buy shit, and I'm like, oh god, I fucking know exactly where this is gonna go. Yeah. And I walk in there and it's just dirty, and it's like, oh, it's so funny. I don't have a job. I'm gonna make someone else suffer. Like, what the fuck? That's so dumb.
Yeah. So like, I always try to not have the mindset.
Comedy shouldn't be about like someone else's, like inability to do something or making them do something.
Yeah,
to degrade them. That's not what comedy is. It's not about degrading people. It should be about.
And why did like these kids? I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like all these like hoodlums that'll just like come in like gangs into like places, like, and then they'll like break something, like, and then like make a video about it and then they leave, and it's like,
it's not funny. Okay, there's no point.
Nobody's gonna laugh at that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm definitely not laughing.
Yeah.
You're looking at me smiling.
No, yeah, it's not.
Like, I'm not gonna laugh either.
No. It was me that was in the bathroom.
It was me the whole time. Oh my goodness, I had something I was gonna say and I remember exactly now. Fast and Furious 9. I didn't want to see it, and then I saw 1, John Cena, and 2, Han is now back and not dead.
We're gonna have to see how they explain that. Here's the thing.
I can't believe I'm gonna go see a Fast and Furious movie.
They spoiled so. Have you seen all the other ones?
Yes, I have. I've seen most of them.
They spoiled so much.
That would have been so great.
The entire trailer. Like, you didn't. They honestly did not need to show me anything. I was gonna go see Fast 9 anyways.
Yeah.
I mean.
Like if I probably wasn't, but if people came out from Fast 9 after it comes out and they're like, you need to go see this, it's fucking insane. Like, if they would have hid that Han was coming back, that would have been one of the greatest comebacks in film history.
Exactly. Like, why did they spoil so much? Literally, you find out so much in the trailer. And this isn't spoilers because this is in the trailer.
Right. It's literally in the trailer.
John Cena's his brother.
Right.
Han comes back from the dead. They don't fall down in the cliff because they catch themselves on a rope or whatever. And there's like 10 other spoilers in that trailer alone. And I was like, no, I love these movies. Why would you show me all this?
Whoever fucking edited that, whoever is their like promotional team is dropped the ball.
They don't get it. They don't get it.
Yeah.
If they truly want to make a good trailer, they just tease these things. You know what I mean?
Like, I don't even know. That's just
what do you think?
Frustrating.
Here's an interesting topic.
Sure.
Top movie trailers.
Top movie trailers. So one of the best ones that sticks out in my mind is obviously the Mission Impossible Fallout trailer.
Oh, so good.
It's action packed. It's got everything you need. No, it hints just enough, but it doesn't drop anything.
Oh, the timing of it is so perfect.
Great. The music worked really, really well. It used a not known, and was it Imagine Dragons?
Yep.
Not known Imagine Dragons song. A very underrated song. It made it popular.
Yep.
Awesome.
This is so good.
It's so good.
I agree. Like I didn't really think about that. Yeah, it like doesn't reveal too much.
The Hereditary trailer, I think, was really good because the Hereditary is a film that I think is similar to like Parasite. You should go in cold, knowing nothing about it, and the trailer does enough where you watch the trailer and like it gives you hints, but you still don't know what you're gonna go see.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't give you any hints to the story or anything.
Logan.
That was a fantastic
Just a
trailer.
great use of the music.
Yes.
Really, it's all about that song. And they did not give away much in that trailer.
Honestly, yeah.
There's
not many like things that like the trailers are not a thing that I like go back and I like watch, but there are a few that I'll like. Ooh.
Yeah.
Like even if it's like years past like it coming out.
Us.
The
song usage of I Got 5 on it. I mean, that was so genius. What? I mean, that probably had to come from Jordan Peele, like the use of that song. I mean, when he wrote the movie and like just how he could think about how to use that. That's super cool.
I can't think of any more. I'd say because I've made a lot of trailers for even projects that haven't been released. I think my favorite trailer that I've ever made was either the Slick Trigger behind the scenes final trailer.
The one in theaters.
No, that's the premiere night trailer. Or the Slick Trigger, the second Slick Trigger trailer. I think that's some of my best work.
That's a great one. Yeah.
I think I'm pretty good at like putting trailers together.
Oh yeah.
It's an art.
It is an art.
Yeah.
Trailer making is like, I mean, obviously they botched it with Fast 9 trailer. I mean,
they gotta hire us, man. We could have done way better.
That's like if we would make this trailer for Slick Trigger and we just revealed Cyrus instantly, like, oh, it's Tony the whole time. Oh.
Yeah, that would have.
No one's gonna go see that,
right?
You know?
Yeah, like. Even if like it's pretty obvious from the start, because some people in the theater they said that like they like had like a pretty good idea who Cyrus was, but even then like people were still guessing. Like you still don't know until you know
exactly.
But then you just tell us in the trailer. It's like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
Well, now if you fake it out, it's gonna feel cheap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like didn't know that was coming.
Whatever.
Okay, what do you think about this? Interesting. New Vin Diesel movie coming out. I don't know if it's out yet already.
Bloodshot, Bloodline, something like that.
Something like that.
Blood something.
So when the trailer started, I was like, oh, another classic Vin Diesel, you know? And then they showed the twist.
Dude, that twist would have been so good.
But I don't know, because I would not have gone to see that if it wasn't for the twist.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Someone would have gone and seen it, and someone would have been like, hey, this is actually really good.
Yep.
And then it would have made all of its money back because a bunch of people.
You just got to trust the audience.
Shit.
Trust your audience. Even if it's not that many, they can spread the word.
That's right. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like we should make a really generic looking film that has a fucking insane twist.
Yeah. Some people are like, oh, another movie. What?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Is that Robbie from Slick Trigger?
Said no one ever.
Yeah, that just seems like it'd be fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Make like a generic looking ass movie that at least someone's gonna go see that has an insane ass twist.
Like right at the beginning, too.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, this whole movie's gonna be totally different. You know what I mean?
That would have been honestly, that's like fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Shit.
How much time we got?
About 5-ish minutes. I have a question.
Okay, let's hear it.
Mainly to do with the Late Night Boomin.
Sure.
The drama has been really heavy lately. Has there been any resolve to that
So here's the deal.
so far?
I can't. I'll spell out all the drama for all you guys, so you guys can help me.
Okay.
Help me come to a conclusion here. I want to start off with the fact that I've been given a great opportunity to, first of all, do this in the first place at USF.
Of course.
Okay, like obviously I have to keep that in mind. Like, I came to USF and they're giving me what I need to. I mean, they're giving me the platform to be able to do this, you know? That being said, there are some key things that we aren't receiving.
Camera support.
Cameras. Which I don't know what to think about that because
we currently don't have.
We were allowed to use really nice cameras for the first one, and then apparently after how that first show went, one person took away those nice cameras, and now we have to use crappy cameras because they claim that they're only for academic use now. But honestly, I've learned more academically in
Doing
this show. I've just learned so much doing it about editing, about interviewing, stuff like that, you know? And also, this one other person is not communicating very well with us on getting tech people there. And that's very frustrating because, I mean, that's the two things you need, camera and audio.
Right.
You know? And so, obviously, like, I love USF. I don't want to come on here and just badmouth USF because I love it. They're giving me such a great opportunity to do this. But there are some things that need to be fixed.
Just a little upsetting.
Yeah. It's just a little frustrating things too. You know what I mean?
It's unfortunate because I've never really dealt with a lot of drama shooting anything. And granted, this is a live show, so it's different. You know, if we wanted to shoot like a scene there for like a film, you know, we're relying on someone else's equipment. But because this is something that we've never done before, we kind of have to.
Yeah.
Which is a bit unfortunate. But I think, you know, especially with show 3, I keep saying episode, especially with show 3, as long as someone can get us the soundboard available and we have our cameras by then, I think the show number 3 is going to go fine.
You think we should use our own personal cameras on it? I
think we should for show number 3 at least, because then we could use your Canon G7 for maybe the wide. And I know you don't think that it's just like wrong, it's almost perfect. Like the zoom almost gets there. But I think if we use that and then we use the two 4Ks on the side, the two A6400s on the side, I think it'd be a beautiful show. And I think also with how you've started organizing the show for the camera crew and everybody, yeah.
I just want to get it out there more.
Yeah.
I don't know how else. I mean, like YouTube, that's all I know how to do right now. Like what else? I mean, because that's what people watch.
Have we thought about using some of the budget for Facebook marketing?
There's an idea.
Yeah.
Like putting an ad on?
Putting an ad. Maybe we record 2 videos for show number 3 and we put one of them out early and say, hey, this is our show, here's a small segment.
You know what'd be super cool? You know we get a lot of views is going live with the show.
Yeah.
I don't know how
but
to do
that's
that.
really
so complicated.
It's really hard. Yeah, we couldn't do that with our setup.
No.
Unless
maybe in the future.
We'll
keep upgrading, we'll keep thinking. It's like a big puzzle, we just got figured out.
Right. It would not be a bad idea to I don't know if it's possible, but if we could use that other studio that USF has and just to test it out, a show with no audience, that would be interesting.
Yeah, just like a little special or something.
Yeah,
maybe not like a full show either.
Right.
Like maybe
like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
like a small show. Yeah, that'd be a cool idea.
Yeah,
I've been thinking about this because when I get my camera, I want to be basically shooting stuff like as often as I can, just to even learn, maybe shoot a couple micro short films or whatever. You remember WPF, like hashtag WPF, like episode 1, it was like this like variety show.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to bring that back in some form where it's like a bunch of like microfilms or like short stuff like that. Cause I love what you guys have been doing with the late night Boomin video segments where you're like going out and you're interviewing people. Yeah. I want to do that so bad. Because it just looks like a lot of fun.
It is.
It's like so nerve-wracking, and that's what makes the comedy good. So I want to bring back some sort of variety show to my channel where it's like, you know, here's like a comedy skit, like a Cheese Puffs kind of style. Mm-hmm. And then, here's like a little thing that we did at the mall interviewing people. And then, here's a serious microfilm and, you know, stuff like that. Here's a trailer. like a teaser for something, you know?
And honestly, I think that something in the style of
Because that would be my late night.
that'd be your no, yeah, like I mean, if you obviously don't have to do this, but
oh god,
we could find a way to combine.
Delete your channel, Cole.
This is totally up to you, but if you want to, you could somehow combine like the podcast, since we're going on video with it.
Oh yeah,
turn that into that. I mean, then it's all about. I mean, we filmed something.
The video, so the video podcast has extra bits. Is kind of what you're saying?
Like, so the video podcast, maybe we show a clip from Late Night Boomin', or you've done like a little microfilm throughout the week, and then we talk about the process. I mean, you can pull up
watch
little clips.
It, maybe even do like a mini like commentary for the video.
Exactly.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
I don't know. It's just some. I mean, you don't have to do that. It's just something to think
Actually, holy shit. You're a genius.
Genius.
That's actually really smart.
Because
you know what I really enjoyed doing? I really enjoyed watching Slick Trigger and doing a commentary track. I feel like we should do more stuff like that.
That was fun.
Because it was fun.
Yeah.
You know, we could, or even like, I don't know if you watch like, I'm not a fan of reaction videos.
Yeah.
But we could do something similar to like a filmmakers react to this, like maybe like a music video comes out and we like give our opinion, like, oh, that looks like this was done like this. That's really insane. Oh, that was a really cool one shot.
In essence, we're combining a podcast, a vlog, and skits all into one.
Yeah.
That'd be super cool.
Season 2 is going to be insane.
Season 2 is going to be wild.
That's if we can pull it off. We'll try. I guess that'll be the video portion, and then the audio portion will just, I don't know. I'll figure it out.
That's a ways down the road.
Yeah, it's a ways down the road. We got
time.
about 9 weeks until we hit episode 20. Episode 20, by the way, I want to be an hour and a half long. And I want to have a guest on too, because I don't think we can talk for an hour and a half. Because usually I've noticed with us, we'll hit 50 minutes and we'll run out of stuff to talk about.
We just run out of steam. We're just BS.
Yeah, we're about 5 minutes, about 4 minutes away. But you know, it's just whatever. But that's a really good idea though. And I also want to upgrade our mics eventually.
Sure.
Too, and get a new mixer and stuff.
Sure.
But yeah.
Money moves.
Do you know when we start shooting the reality show? I haven't heard anything.
So he's in Florida right now. He's doing some promos for the company itself.
Okay. So it's currently a work in progress.
Yeah.
Sure.
We'll probably know more by next podcast.
I am super duper fun. I am super duper fun.
You are fun.
I am fun.
Yes.
Sorry, that was a really weird thing for me to say. I am super duper fun. I was looking at my phone, clearing my notifications. I just say dumb stuff when I'm not paying attention.
Super duper.
I am super duper fun. A lot of stuff going on. Where can people check you out? I'm sure they've heard it a million times
Cheese
before.
Puffs, Late Night Boomin', and Dorm Boomin' on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook.
And
where can
hopefully a
people
website
check?
Soon.
Hopefully a website soon. It's in the works.
We'll
talk about that next week too.
That's right. Check out CJA Visuals, aka Anderson Visuals, and Cole James which is me, Cole James Anderson, on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Check out CJAVisuals.com. It's my portfolio website. Looking for a job, guys. Still unemployed.
So he'll have one by next week. Maybe by next podcast you'll have him.
Maybe by the next one. I did apply to Domino's to be a delivery driver
really?
part-time. So yeah.
Sick.
Just for some extra cash.
Right.
But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening to the Small YouTube Channels Talk podcast.
It's been real. It's been fun.
It's been real. It's been fun.
But it
This is
hasn't
the
been
last
real fun.
podcast. Goodbye. No, we're kidding. This is the last one. Goodbye. No. Yeah, we'll see you next week on the Small YouTube Channels Talk podcast. I am Jack Xavier Unruh.
I'm Cole James Corinius Anderson. Peace.
Thank you for listening to Small YouTube Channels Talk podcast with Cole James Anderson and Jack Unruh. And don't forget, new episodes every Friday.